At the tail end of the 1980s, Mattel launched a new toy line. This line was called Computer Force and was tapping into the popularity of the advent of home computers. The idea behind the line, of course, was that these evil viruses made in toy form come to life would hide in everyday appliances, and then the good guys, which would be the antivirus, would have to come in and fight them. Altogether, this was quite a short-lived line, producing only 12 pieces. And I had one as a child without really ever knowing what it was or what it was about, because there was no spin-off cartoon or anything like that to really promote the line. So for years it was a toy that I had, but I never really fully understood what it was. And there's always been an air of mystery to it. It's only now as an adult that I've been able to research a little bit and find a bit more, that I actually fully understand the concept and what this range was all about. It's important to remember, of course, that Mattel were tapping into the zeitgeist, which was, of course, there were different things going on at the time. There were things like Polly Pocket and Mighty Max were just launching. These are worlds in miniature with miniature figures in these playsets that open and fold away again. But it was also time to capitalise on the growing popularity of home PCs and the advent of having this technology like the internet and things like this in our own homes. And you can see a lot of products around this time, particularly in films, where this is, a revolution. This is something where there's a lot of mystery and intrigue around this, and provided a lot of ground for fertile imagination. And you'll notice a lot of the characters have names like Grid, Megahertz, ROM, and they're having some fun with this new lexicon that was entering into the popular language. So without further ado, today I'm going to be looking at my own set, which was Computer Force book. So this is the playset that was designed around appearing like an ordinary book, at least on the outside. And first things first, the packaging is really nice. Again, it has that lovely 80s artwork, so it's been painted, it's been drawn, and it looks fantastic. I think it really captures the imagination there of this action-packed world. I love the colours on this. It adds a sense of mystery, and I just think it's really fun. The back of the packaging shows the display itself when the case is fully opened up, so we can see what that world looks like, but it also gives you a little bit more information about the world. At the top of the box, again, we have some lovely painted artwork here, which kind of displays the whole line and the idea behind it, which is quite fun. At the bottom of the box, we can see the playset itself when it's fully opened up, but we can also get an image of the character that this comes with, the exclusive character Index, which I quite like. It doesn't give much information about him other than he's an evil virus genius, but that's good enough for me. Out of the packaging here we can see the book itself, and as a child I was always told not to judge a book by its cover, but wow, what a cover. Actually, I think this looks really, really good. It does have a sense of trying to emulate what a book should look like. It's got that leather-bound effect throughout it, but yeah, I love the artwork on this cover design here. I think this is really, again, gorgeous painted artwork and just really fun and evocative. On the side here we can see the spine of what would be the book, and quite nice. Obviously they're called Computer Force, but they also have the date at the bottom there of 1990. Yeah, this looks really good. This looks fun. The back of the case is obviously nondescript. It's just a basic plastic cover. Okay, and here's the fun part where we actually open up the playset, and it folds out really nicely. One of the things I'd say about this playset is that it's obviously at a much bigger scale than you'd see with, say, Mighty Max or Polly Pocket. This is slightly taller again. The figure's probably a good 2 inches tall, rather than, say, being that, couple of centimeters. So the world that he inhabits here is much larger. So this is good or bad depending on your point of view, but I like this because it stands up all these years later, and it's easy to see the detail and the texturing and the fun they've had with it. And I think I'll start by actually looking at the figure itself. So this is Index. He's quite a colourful character, and you can see there's a lot of paint apps on this guy. I love that he's got lots of different colours to him, and he's capturing that sense of being slightly computerish, looking a bit like a computer chip, but obviously he's evil, he's a virus, and they've definitely caught that villainy in his face there with his downturned mouth and his cyclops eye. So I think he looks really good. He does also have some decent articulation as well, like his arms can move and his legs can move, and I think that's really fun. So yeah, nice little minifigure. So as we saw before, when you open the case up, you can extend these green ladders and platforms into place so that they fit together nicely, so it helps build the world. Now, the world that Index is living in is clearly some sort of rocket launching site. It's hard to miss the big rocket behind him there, but there's all sorts of computer panels and walkways. There's lots of stickers, and that's where a lot of the set gets its details from. There's stickers, so it's stickers of doors and panels and computer chips and things. And I like that there's a little doorway for him in this green plastic set here, and a little ladder as well that he can climb on. Now, of course, the set has a number of action features. So one of them is this hidden tucked away gunner seat that pulls out from the wall and has articulated gun arms. And of course he can sit in this seat here and he can swing out and attack any enemies who are coming towards him. And the guns rotate as well, which is really fun. So he can attack several enemies at once, presumably. But this looks really good, and this is quite a cool little fun feature to just build into the back of the playset there. And just, again, bring it to life and make it a lot more three-dimensional. There's also lots of these alcoves and little external pieces that are sticking out from the wall. So these like computer units or like I said, computer alcoves, things like that, where he can be inputting information and messing about with whatever it is that he's doing. But I think it's a nice touch. Rather than just being a sticker, there's actually a physical thing for him to interact with. Now, none of these panels actually do anything. There's no switches or clips that actually make the set come to life, so to speak, which is a shame. Feels like a missed opportunity, but it's still a nice little extra to have, and it still brings that three-dimensional element to it that I was talking about before, which is quite cool. And again, here's some little details of the stickers here to show that there's little doorways and things like that to just bring a bit more colour and a bit more life to the playset, which is quite nice. But after all these years, they're starting to peel, I'm afraid. Now, on the upper level, we have the same sort of thing, a lot more stickers, another external unit there that's monitoring something. But you'll also notice there's this sort of grey hanging cannon. And of course, this is another action feature. The top of the bookcase actually opens up, and this grey cannon folds over the top of the lid of the case, and you can place index on top of that as another firing cannon. On the other side of the playset, we have another level here where there is this green ladder which moves forwards and backwards. I think the aim of this is the idea that he can climb this ladder to eventually climb into his rocket. But it doesn't move very much as an action feature, so I think it's more about space saving than interactivity. Of course, there is a rocket, which is the best thing about this playset in my opinion, and it's resting on a lift pad here that you can actually push all the way up to the top and get it into launch position. And so we can chart Index's course through this playset as he gets ready, preps for launch, as he climbs his way up the set, gets into the rocket, and then blasts off. The rocket itself is a really nice design. There's something very simple about it, and yet the shape and feel of it is really fun. I love that it can spin when you put it on a surface like this, and yeah, its overall design and look is very appealing. There's very light detailing in terms of stickers on it, but what's there is colourful, and the actual texturing and detailing of the engines is quite nice. I love that the figure fits inside it, and it is a clear case so you can see him in there, and yeah, I think it's really quite fun. So there you go. Now, as a kid, I only had this one playset. I didn't have any other sets in the line or any more of the minifigures, which is a real shame because you can see that this is actually quite a fun idea. And I think it's a shame that the series wasn't more successful and didn't go on to produce more figures, but there certainly are plenty of them out there for collectors who are interested in picking them up, and I think they're well worth your time based on this. I think this one particularly, I've had a lot of fun with over the years. I love there's a lot of little details to it. Overall, there's not a lot to it. I think they could have made more of the bigger scale to have a few more interactive pieces in there, maybe some switches and things like that to shoot things off or whatever it might be in springs. But I think this is a really nice set. I think it's really fun and I love the idea. I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, please do give it a like and remember to subscribe, as I will be posting more videos soon.